Now to another story with major implications. UN Security Council diplomats recently visited the Lake Chad Basin in West Africa to review firsthand the security challenges and dire humanitarian situation there. Envoys from 15 nations traveled to Cameroon, Chad, Niger and Nigeria for a 4-day mission. It's the first time the Council has made such a visit to the Lake Chad Basin. Now, VOA's UN Bureau correspondent Margaret Besheer traveled with the delegation and joins me now from the United Nations in New York. Margaret, first, why was it important for this delegation, this huge delegation from the United Nations, to visit that region?
Well, Vincent, I think the Lake Chad Basin problem with Boko Haram is a subject that's not really come up a lot on the Security Council agenda. And so they went to, as they said, shine a spotlight on the problem, on the humanitarian crisis, which is growing, and to get some more facts for themselves to see what the Council, which is responsible for international peace and security, can do about it. And so they had a lot of meetings on the ground, and really it was a quick trip, but I think it was an impactful one, and they saw a lot of what's going on and came back with some fresh perspective.
Now they have fresh perspective, they have a lot of details. What next? What do they do with this?
Well, look, they met with IDPs, they met with refugees, civil society, NGOs, presidents, prime ministers. They talked to so many people. I think really the biggest impact were the meetings they had with the displaced persons and the refugees in Marwa in northern Cameroon and in northeastern Nigeria in Borno and Maiduguri. And these personal stories that they came back with, I think, really affected them. And I hear from them that they will be pushing for a more sustained and stepped up response, not just to the humanitarian situation on the ground. And they talked a lot about looking for holistic approaches to dealing with the Boko Haram crisis. So talking about things like climate change and settling other conflicts in the area, such as Mali and Libya, that are affecting the Lake Chad region, looking at good governance and other issues, education and jobs for the youth. So I think they're coming back, they have a lot to think about, but the fact that they've met these people, they now have a responsibility to act, hopefully. So we should be seeing more from the Security Council in the coming weeks.
There's also the other side, of course, the leadership in the region and the other players. You were around there. Did you get to hear anything about what they say themselves? What do they want from the international community that they haven't received before?
Yeah, I was lucky. I got to sit in on a lot of the meetings with the presidents and prime ministers, and I think in some ways they told the council what the council wanted to hear, but in other ways I think the council saw through that and they understood. So the word from the ground, from the region, is that they have Boko Haram on the back foot, that they are making progress against the group, but at the same time, security is not entrenched everywhere. It's still very fragile, and they still need international assistance, both with the multinational joint task force that's operating in the region and also to their governments. They need international support to kind of finish this battle against Boko Haram.
And I know we've been covering this area, but very quickly, Margaret, being there, observing yourself, what did you make of it? What difference did it make, even for you?
Well, you know, I've traveled a lot with the Security Council in the past and gone to many countries in Africa, and it was really very hard to see the situation of the refugees and IDPs in northern Cameroon and in Maiduguri. It was so hot, Vincent. I can't even begin to tell you how hot it was in Maiduguri. And these people don't have, you know, access to a great deal of water. Their food rations are not enough to feed their, you know, their very big families. Many of them had 8 children. They're living in this camp that we went to in brick houses, but they're small, and there's something like 50 people to a house, about 8 families in each house. So, I mean, really difficult conditions. Okay. And I don't think any of us will be forgetting it anytime soon.
Margaret, thank you. Thank you very much for your reporting. That is VOA's UN correspondent, Margaret Besheer, reporting from New York. Now,